IllinoisOutdoors.com. You can jump on there to find our Catch of the Week segment. Also, our archive shows. After they air on the weekend, you can find them every Monday at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. So listen when you can. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Central Illinois Outdoors. Central Illinois Outdoors on Facebook or at CentralIllinoisOutdoors.com. We'll see you there.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM information station. My name is Tim Zalabak. Time now for the WTIM morning show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. I got Jeff Stoner in the studio with me today. He's the director of the Christian County Emergency Management Agency, and I got his name and number right on my wall in this studio, just in case the skies out there start to look a little bit too scary. Sure, Jeff, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great.
Thank you for taking the time, being in here with us. And yes, like I said, you are the one I call when I'm looking up to those skies and I get a bad feeling about that. So, I mean, we've seen some bad weather here in the past month or so. Have you been getting calls? What's it been like?
Yeah, so obviously we had the few tornadoes come through in the past month, the EF2 and EF1 through the Kincaid, Sharpsburg area, kind of east through the county. They say that National Weather Service kind of, Tornado Alley shifts every 10 years or so. So they kind of said it's kind of shifted toward us this year. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on that. And, weather's predictable but unpredictable. So,
okay.
Yeah.
We talked, I was sitting here with one of my other morning show interviews. We talked about Tornado Alley. I'm sure there is a real Tornado Alley out there somewhere. Are we in the real Tornado Alley?
So it's I mean, like I said, it's kind of like the flow paths, and it's really like the National Weather Service would be the guys who come bring in here and tell you like how all that works. But I mean, it shifts kind of north, south, east, west, kind of all the time. So every 10 years or whatever. But we're kind of in that area right now.
Christian County really seeing that this year.
Yeah.
And, you can't really prepare for that, can you? I mean, you see how far in the future can you see that?
So they're tracking it, obviously, when the storm system starts and all the way through as the pressure systems and everything come through. We get notification pretty early, probably a day or the morning of any incidents or prior to. So they're tracking it pretty early. Now as of touchdowns and as it goes up and down, that's kind of, sometimes they can track it as long as it's on the ground and there is rotation they can see. But other than that, sometimes it's here it is and it's on the ground. So.
Yeah, those tornadoes come out of nowhere and they do damage fast. And I mean, there's a lot of pressure to get information out to people, I'm sure. And if a guy like me is calling you with information, you got to have the right stuff. You guys got people out in the field making sure that, maybe something does touch down. I'm sure they have crazy equipment. What does that process look like to see a tornado? I mean, are you waiting for a caller or you got to be out there?
Yeah, so fire departments around the county, even the police department, sheriff's office, they're out sometimes as long as it's safe for weather spotting. Most of them are trained weather spotters, and they'll go out and park at different locations in the county, depending on what the area and kind of call back in the information. The National Weather Service, and there are other trained weather spotters that do the storm chasers. They call in, we talk to the National Weather. Like it's pretty much a big communication of people talking to each other to make sure that we're tracking where the storm system's going, where the tornadoes are, so we can get information out to people.
Do we have those legitimate storm chasers in those cool armored cars driving around here sometimes?
Most of them that I've seen are pickup trucks and things with a lot of antennas, a lot of equipment on them. But they do, even without the armored cars, it's still really good that they get that communicated to us.
Absolutely.
So,
just a big wide web of communications there, all needing to fill in. Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, my imagination there, I see the TV show and with that armored car with walls that go down to the floor. It makes it, very strangely aerodynamic, I'm sure. So it keeps it on the ground, of course. But yes, okay. So keeping us safe during the weather here. We had a pretty big storm roll through yesterday. You told me we're just going to get the tail end of it, which is what I saw on the radar. But do you get a lot of calls from people, concerned about weather?
We try to put as much information out as possible, so we don't get too many calls. The fire department with social media and everything nowadays, everything kind of gets pushed out as soon as we get it. We actually this last year, Taylorville Fire and the city of Taylorville went to HyperReach. It's a mass communication or mass notification communication system that goes to everybody's phone, calls, text messages, anything, landlines. So we kind of picked it up with them this year. And so now once we onboard this, because it's pretty new to us, then everybody in the county will be covered if you have a landline or a cell phone that's in the database. We'll put out a thing on our Facebook page that you can sign up. It's kind of like the Sheriff's app, which is a great app. If you don't have that, obviously get on there because that pushes out alerts too. But the difference between us and, well, not us, but the notification system is you'll actually receive a phone call, text message, no matter where you are. If you work in Springfield and there's weather alerts here, if you're not in the bubble here and not signed up, you won't get it. So this is a great informational tool that immediately comes to your phone when these notifications come out.
Wow. So it's called HyperReach.
HyperReach. Yep.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
And you can sign up for it on Facebook. You're going to have to be signed
Yeah.
up
So we're going to have the sign up form. We're going to have everything. It's pretty easy. It's real quick. And you just throw your information on there and information, text message, calls, everything to your phone.
That's really helpful. You mentioned the Christian County Sheriff's
Yeah.
app. We've talked about that on here. That's good for all types of information.
Sure.
They do have weather on there as well. But
Sure.
it'll be nice to get an actual phone call.
Yeah.
And it's nice that it follows you around because, if you have like the WGN weather app, right? Like if I'm in Springfield, I might not get a Taylorville report. So
Sure.
it'd be really nice to have
Yeah.
just for coming back. And
Yeah.
you think a lot of people are going to get on that app? I mean, how are you going to get that out there?
I would hope so. A lot of the people in Taylorville did when they had it. So I would hope that, it's just another way to get notified if an emergency was coming, and it's free.
Sure.
So why not?
That's part. Yeah, absolutely. So we mentioned a lot about the fire department. You
Sure.
are a fireman as well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you talked about a little bit of the equipment that might be used in the fire department. Is there any
Sure.
weather-related equipment, or is it just new
Yeah.
equipment?
Yeah. So went through Columbia Weather Systems. We have a weather monitoring station, a mobile one that I have, and usually when we go out, it measures pressures and all that. So that helps. Us relay that information to the National Weather Service. We also, the fire departments have the wind speed gauges and things like that. So, it's equipment for weather is always obviously needed, and we're still looking to get more. But we're at a really good start for it right now.
So you got a whole mobile for weather-related stuff just right now, so you can send that off to the
Yeah.
National Weather Service.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so like when you see a system coming through, you take that out somewhere and read pressures and stuff like that, or
Yeah, it just it's kind of a little radar thing that just pop up on the top of the truck and it measures all that stuff. So
that's cool. I'm picturing a lot of bells and whistles inside of that thing, a lot
Sure.
of lights flashing. So
Yeah.
it might not be that serious there, but very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. So you guys got to stay up to it because there's so many things to worry about at the fire department already, but now you got to focus on weather too. You see an uptick of emergencies at the fire department, of course, property damage, but also driving can get worse. People's actual driving is worse. I mean,
Sure.
as soon as storms come through, I'm sure the fire department just prepares.
Yeah, and that's why we have the outdoor weather sirens. There's a lot of people say, well, it's a tornado siren. Well, no, it's an outdoor weather alert system. Pretty much is what it is. The reason for setting those sirens off is for those who aren't like near a radio or near a phone and outside, like at a baseball game or soccer game, whatever, they can seek shelter or get to somewhere where they can hear what's going on for the radio or the weather. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's an actual tornado on the ground. If you hear the sirens, it means go somewhere where you can see what's going on and seek shelter is what the alert is.
Is it the same sound for a tornado if there
Yeah.
was one? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is just a alert to there is
Yes.
weather in your area. Go find what it is. Take
Yeah.
shelter. So
Yep.
always good to take shelter when you hear that. Though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Immediately, we have, sometimes people, I hear the sirens. I'm going to go drive around and see what's going on. But
Go on
we
my
recommend
porch.
not doing that. Yeah. So
Yeah, of course, you want to see what's going on in the skies, but
Sure.
it's not the most important thing.
Right.
Safety is the most important thing.
Right.
All right, awesome. I'm sitting down with Jeff Stoner right now. He's the director of the Christian County Emergency Management Agency, also a firefighter here in Taylorville. Been having a great conversation so far. We're going to take a short little break here on the WTIM Morning Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans higher, wheat trading double-digit lower. September corn 472 down 2.5. December corn down 3, 484 1/4. March corn, 497 and 3/4, down 3.5. September beans, 1353, up 15 and 3/4. November beans up 17 and 1/4, 1324 and 3/4. January beans, 1334, up 16 and 3/4. September wheat, 610 and 1/4, down 16.5. December wheat down 16 and 1/4, 637.5. September bean meal, 415.90, up 560. September bean oil, 64.17, up 4 cents. Livestock market, August feeders 246.30, down to $1.45. August live cattle 180.02, down 35 cents. August lean hogs 102.02, down 7 cents. Energy market, September crude oil 82.82, down 37 cents. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
If you want a retirement community that feels like home, check out Taylorville Estates Assisted Living. Come and go as you want from your own private apartment and enjoy 3 home-cooked meals a day. Stay active with their social activities coordinator filling a jam-packed schedule this summer, including scenic drives and their Late Bloomers Club. Enjoy your golden years without the hassle at Taylorville Estates Assisted Living. Schedule a tour with Administrator Tony Clark at 824-2222. That's 824-2222. Encouraging independence, enriching lives.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of the Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
I'm Amy Hagan, co-coordinator at the Taylorville Food Pantry. As we are all feeling the impact of inflation, historic levels of hunger exist in our community due to summer break without school lunches and a reduction in household SNAP benefits. Taylorville Food Pantry continues working in Christian County to keep our families fed. For more information, please visit us at TaylorvilleFoodPantry.com or find us on Facebook. Taylorville Food Pantry, feeding hunger with heart.
This is Cammie Payne, General Manager of the Miller Media Group. We, along with TCCU, are proud to bring you the Community Spotlight each month.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Weekday mornings at 6:40 and weekday afternoons at 12:20. Hear his reports by downloading the free WTIM mobile app at the Apple Store or Google Play.
The Shelby County Economic Development Corporation aims to foster, promote, and stimulate economic development. They're here to help your business grow. Find out more on the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Information Station. My name is Tim Zalabak. Time now to continue the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. I got Jeff Stoner in the studio with me right now. He's the director of the Christian County Emergency Management Agency. And what a title that is. I've been reading off that title quite a bit. It's a mouthful, but it also seems to be a lot of responsibility with that job. So how long have you been doing it, and what does the job entail?
Sure. So I took over about 3 years ago, and pretty much the job is to ensure that the first responders and anyone responding to emergencies in the county have the equipment they need, assist them logistically on anything they need, make sure the citizens are safe and informed of weather-related incidents or mass incidents, anything to do with railroads, pipelines, any hazardous material, issues. I mean, that's kind of what we do. So we've been going to a lot of the larger incidents for the fire departments. We'll help families with Red Cross stuff and, getting, after either major house fires or, because that's, if after you suffer a loss like that, or that's like kind of the last thing on your mind is like, you're kind of in the moment. So we try to be there to support families and give them the information they can use to continue on.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, you mentioned helping out, making sure logistics are in place and equipment for firefighters, but a lot of help with the Red Cross and families struggling. Can you talk to me a little bit more about that? I mean, we've had a lot of property damage around here. Sure. What kind of assistance do you give them?
So the Red Cross, we kind of call the Red Cross. Red Cross steps in, with clothing or temporary place to stay until they get on their feet within the insurance and things like that. So they really do a great job, and they're usually here within 45 minutes an hour.
Wow. That's a big deal, but it's up to you to let them know in the first place that,
Sure.
hey, we got people that
Yep.
are in need of help over here. So,
Yeah.
wow. So all the great things the agency does. You said you've been working it for 3 years now after you said Morrisonville and Taylorville split.
So it would have been Christian County and Montgomery County. Yeah, no, you're yeah. So they was a Chrismont with 2 counties combined, and then we split into both separate counties. So it's been a process to kind of to rebuild the program. Yeah.
Was that done because populations were just getting too big? Christian County needed to have its own, and
yeah, I think that's what it is. It's hard to control 2 counties. Hard to get information out to 2 counties when you're kind of spread out all over the place. So we just wanted to make sure our citizens, here in the county, got the protection and the days deserved, instead of splitting time between 2 counties.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's nice that Christian County has its own, and Montgomery County has their own.
Yeah,
so
sure,
awesome.
Sure.
Do you guys relay information back and forth to each other? I'm sure there's a lot of communication there.
Yeah, I mean, we there's things we talk about back and forth. There's some things we're moving forward. We're going to be hopefully working on in the future for equipment wise and things. There's some ideas rolling around up there, but hopefully we'll see what the future holds for it.
Okay, very cool. And you were talking about the fire department a little bit, making sure they have all the proper equipment. Sure. And I'm sure things happen, and maybe you don't have a piece of equipment. Sure. Is that the only way to find out what piece of equipment you need, or do you kind of got a list of what you're looking for?
I mean, we kind of know where we're at in equipment needs, and as new technology comes around, and obviously like. This, we had all these ARPA funds that come through the county from COVID and everything, and the county board graciously given about $10,000 per department for the fire departments here, the volunteer departments, and $10,000 for air packs or PPE, personal protective equipment that was lost or used during the COVID stuff, and then moving on to radio communications. Most of the departments in the county were operating on an analog system, and the new technology is the P25 digital. So Taylorville went to the digital, but when there's a large scale incident, weather related incident, we're all trying to talk to each other, the radios wouldn't communicate. So what the county board was gracious enough to give our agency a good amount of ARPA funds. And we were able to purchase 3 of those P25 radios for each of the fire departments and give them. So now every one of the fire departments can communicate with each other. And then also I know the sheriff's office, they have their StarComs, but they also have the old P25. So now everybody can talk to each other in the county. So it's a really, really big step. And, obviously as technology is advancing, we don't want to fall behind.
Of course. You mentioned that there was a moment where everyone was trying to communicate, but it was jammed up. So everyone needed their own. Now everyone's got their own P25.
Yeah. So the departments that were on the analog system didn't have the digital capability, so they couldn't talk to anyone with that. So now they at least have some radios with that capability. And as grants and everything and people are replacing, it's a process getting into that.
Super important to make sure everyone's on the same page during these times.
Oh,
Chaos, ensues abruptly, and then you gotta, that's what you guys train for over there. So we're almost at just about a minute left. I want you to mention that. What was it? The Hyperreach. Yeah. Where can people go? When is that going to be rolled out? And just mention that.
So we have a onboarding meeting, I think, in the next week with Hyperreach. They're obviously going to go over their system and how it works with us. And then once we have that done, then we're going to push that out to the county and put it all over Facebook, and people can sign up there, and then we'll start pushing out emergency alerts off that. So I'd always check out our Facebook page. We're always trying to post as much information as we can on there. Share it, like it, do whatever you need to get it out there. But
and that Facebook page is
the Christian County Emergency Management.
Beautiful. Easy enough. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having
me
here.
Thank goodness we didn't have any emergencies happen during this short interview. You can get back to keep your eye on the sky over there. We're talking to Jeff Stoner today. He's the director of the Christian County Emergency Management Agency. He's also a firefighter with the Taylorville Fire Department here. It was a great conversation. Thank you so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. You've been listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.